Hey there, I thought I'd show you how to set up a layer on a Roland keyboard. This happens to be a RD700NX. This will kind of apply to the 300 as well, and somewhat to the 800. Basically, you want to find a live set. So in this case, I want to find an empty one, so I'm going to press the user button because I want the user banks, and these will then choose various live sets, and I'll just pick something relatively high. In this case I'm at 161, not sure you can read that. Okay, there's an init live set. Okay, so here's one that we could edit. Alright, so what we want to do is push the layer edit button, and you can see here this particular keyboard has 4 layers, the 300 has 3. Now if you use the cursor keys, they won't be around a wheel on the 300, they're buttons. So to change the sound, all I would do is hit the bank buttons, the live set bank buttons. So as I do that, you'll see that if you can read it, it changed to vibraphone. If I click the next one, it'll go to some kind of strings. There's a calm choir pad. So let's say I was setting up We Will Run, and I wanted to put a harp part as the upper layer. Actually, no, I'll do it as a lower. So I'll do the synth one first. And I'm probably not going to find the exact synth here. I might get close. So let's see. Yeah, there we go. So you can use the increment and decrement to find the synth by name, or if you look it up in the patch list, you'll know the number, and then you can just quickly find the number. In this case, it's 649. And if I play something, there's our synth sound. And since this song, We'll Run, uses a harp, we want to grab a harp as well. This layer doesn't happen to be on. There's usually a layer select button, well, at least on the 700. On the 300, it doesn't have a layer select button above the sliders. What it does have are a split, which this keyboard has, and a dual, which this one does not. So to get the second layer to be enabled, you would have to push the button on the right, I think, that says dual, and then it will essentially enable the second layer. And so like I said, we want to pick a harp, which I happen to remember is, I think, 184. So I'll go back. So what I did is I picked the string bank that was just above the number that I wanted, and now I'm going to use the decrement to get to what I want. Yeah, there's harp 184. Now there's a problem. I'm hearing both together, which I don't want. I want to set up a split. So how do I do that? Well, you basically will cursor right in this live set. So I'm going to press the cursor right button, and as I do that, you'll notice that the display changes. And here we have a volume setting, pan, reverb, chorus, and you just keep going to the right. You can transpose. Now here it says LWR and UPR. LWR is lower, so this is like the lower key that will play. Now because I'm setting up a split here, actually on the 300 you could hit the split button, and that would probably get you mostly in the ballpark. Although it's a little weird in that it's not the 2 layers together, it would be the third slider would be the lower one. So just a little bit of wisdom there. So in this case we'll set the lower note to A0, and the upper one, you see how I cursored to select it? You can either dial it in, which if you have a wheel is handy, but if you don't, it's annoying with the increment. So it's fast actually to just hit a key. And as you do, it's blinking, and it's telling you what note you hit. Pretty cool, huh? So once you've got something that is like the rough range that you want, you hit the enter key. It'll be located differently on the 300. And when you do that, it'll stop blinking. Now we do want to set the upper range so we don't get synth and harp playing together. So I will just play the F4, which is the next key from my split. Upper is at C8, which is fine. So now if I play, I have synth here. Oops, sorry. one quirk about this is that you have to be off of the upper and lower fields in order to play something, otherwise it'll change your key mapping, which you don't want to do at this point if you're just trying it out. So just move the cursor to somewhere other than the lower and upper, like velocity range lower, or whatever's next to it. So there's our synth, and then over here should be our harp. Okay, now the harp is really low, so it's not really playable for that particular song. So what we want to do is go over here to transpose, TRA, and the harp is, in this case, UP2, which will be probably the same name on the 300. I want to bring it actually up. Let's try going up an octave, so that'd be plus 12. Okay, let's play that. Actually, still needs to be higher, so we're going to go plus 24, which you can hold down plus and it'll spin through the numbers, so you don't have to push it 24 times. There we go, there's our harp. And then yep, so we've got our synth and our harp set up. So now what if we wanted to tweak the sound of one of these? Say you like the synth sound. The 300 has a tone edit button, so when you've got an element selected here at the main screen, you can hit the tone edit button. And for the first layer, you've got the ability to add what's called MFX, which will appear here on the second page. In this case it says enhancer, but it's actually off. If you look at the switch, it says off. So you've got, if you wanted to add something interesting, you could pick different MFX here. And they say like tremolo, and say we turned it on. Oops. On is with the increment button. You can hear it's got a tremolo. Now it will usually be set to follow a tempo, so if you move down to the rate mode you can change that, and where you would set your tempo. In this case, it's maybe different on the 300. I would hit select, go up to the tempo, and set it to the tempo of the song. Then the tremolos and things like that will actually match. So that was in tone edit. Okay, but I said if you wanted to tweak the sound, which this is cool, but you can experiment with that. So the next tab, this particular one has 2 MFX. I think the 300 only gives you 1 on the top layer. So you basically want to be very choosy with what you use it on. Okay, here we go with tone edit. We've got coarse tune, fine tune, mono poly. If you wanted a monophonic synth, like a lead line that did something interesting like that, you could basically turn that to mono. And then if I play this, see so it's not playing polyphonic. It's not playing chords. It's only playing one note at a time, which could be useful depending on what you're covering. There's portamento time, so you could actually set that to on. Portamento switch, and then the time. Actually, let's go back up to mono. You hear how it kind of scoops up. That's portamento for you. Go back to polyphonic. Bend range is for pitch bend. If you need to use a pitch bend, and in this case it's a lever, the bend range specifies how far it bends. There it only did a whole step, which is 2. So if you wanted to have an octave bend, you would set that to 12. But I'm not on the right patch right now to show that to you. Okay, so here, let's say we wanted to tweak this synth. Say we wanted to have it not have a hard attack, but a softer attack. So here we've got attack, release, cutoff, resonance, decay time. So attack, you can basically dial this up, which will lengthen the attack. It's slow to come in. So you can almost create a pad sound from your synth, which is kind of interesting. And if you wanted to lengthen the release, you could do that by going higher. So when you release the keys, you hear how it's continuing to ring a little bit. And if you dial this back, there we go, maybe plus 10 seems to kind of be. It's almost like you have reverb in a way. Okay, the other parameter, oh, by the way, you can go negative on these. So if you do release, if you want to almost do like a reverse type thing. So it can be used creatively, depending on what you need. Cutoff. This is filter cutoff. So if this is too bright to taste, then you can dial this back at negative numbers or darker. There we go. Now the reason it's sounding that way is, I think, because the cutoff is applying after the attack time. These parameters will vary depending on the particular sound you're using. Roland said that they don't all quite behave the same way. So experiment. But this is kind of interesting if you were trying to do like a horn type thing. Maybe with a little more release. Okay, resonance is related to the filter. So cutoff is for filter. Resonance, if you wanted to give it a kind of a, I'll show you the effect here. You hear that ringing sound in there? That's because of resonance. Might be too much there. Still on that horn type sound. So let's go back, cut the attack. We'll leave the release. Filter cutoff, we'll leave it where it is. Okay, the final parameter here is decay time. Now I'm not sure if this sound will respond to it, but if you go negative, it'll shorten the time. Okay, in this case, it's kept the sustain level, and there's not, unfortunately, a parameter for that. So we have a little bit of a bite on the sound, but it still sustains. So if you wanted to make this like a pizzicato type sound, you wouldn't be able to use this tone to do it. So let's go back to a tone that we could do that with, just to show you. And I know that that's saw key 2 I used, but finding it can be a challenge unless you know the number, which I don't have handy right this second. So there it is, saw key 2. All right, so we go to tone edit. Let's look at the parameters. So this is the default sound. See how it sustains? Okay, now I'm going to dial back the decay time. So we'll go like to minus 27. Let's see what that does to the sound. See, I'm holding it, but yet it's only playing a staccato, plucked type sound. And we can play with the cutoff, dial that back. So that can be an interesting sound. So you can get a lot of variety out of a single sound just by changing these parameters. So if you're trying to match something on a recording, use your ears, experiment, and explore these parameters. So that kind of guides you through how you can set up sounds to do different things to cover the parts. So setting up layers, and we took a little dive into tone edit. For further details, see your user manual for your keyboard, as well as the patch list. These keyboards are really good. They're stage pianos, but they have close to 1,000 different tones that you can use, covering all categories. So there's more than likely something there to cover what you're looking for. All right, hope this was helpful. Enjoy.